Jiho Park was in the middle of helping an elderly patient with her exercises when the news broke. He glanced up at the small TV in the corner of his physical therapy clinic. The regular program had been interrupted. "We interrupt this broadcast for breaking news," the announcer said. "Alien ships have entered Earth's atmosphere. This is not a drill." Jiho carefully helped his patient sit down. "Mrs. Kang, I think we should end our session early today." His phone buzzed in his pocket. It was his roommate, Do-hyun. "Are you seeing this?" Do-hyun texted. "Aliens. Actual aliens," Jiho texted back. "Coming home now. Save me a spot on the couch." 30 minutes later, Jiho sat beside Do-hyun in their small apartment, both men staring at their TV screen. The alien ships had landed in several major cities around the world. One had touched down in Seoul, just a few miles from where they lived. "They look like giant bugs," Do-hyun said, leaning forward. The camera showed the aliens emerging from their ships. They stood about 3 meters tall with hard, shell-like skin and 4 long arms. Their heads had large eyes that stuck out on the sides and mouth parts that moved like small claws. "The aliens call themselves the Norathi," the news reporter said. "They say they come in peace and wish to meet with Earth's leaders." Jiho watched, silently. All his life he had been different. Born with muscles that were stronger than any normal humans, he had spent years learning to be gentle, to hide his strength. As a child, other kids had called him a monster when they saw what he could do. Now he was a physical therapist using his knowledge of strength to help others. "The Norathi have requested a meeting with Korean officials," the reporter continued. "They will meet tomorrow at the Seoul Convention Center." The next day, Jiho took the day off work. He and Do-hyun, along with millions of others, watched the historic meeting on TV. The Norathi delegation entered the convention center, ducking to fit through the human-sized doors. Their leader, who called himself Ambassador Kral, towered over the Korean officials who greeted him. Korean Ambassador Tae-ho-yoon stepped forward, extending his hand in greeting. Ambassador Kral looked down at the offered hand. A strange sound came from him, something like laughter. "How adorable," Kral said, his words translated through a device on his chest. "The tiny soft one offers a greeting." He reached down with one of his 4 hands and patted Ambassador Yoon on the head. "So cute." Ambassador Yoon's face turned red, but he maintained his composure. "On behalf of South Korea and Earth, I welcome you to our planet." The Norathi delegation followed the humans into the meeting room. As they walked, one of the aliens pointed at a security guard. "Look, Terok, they have warriors too. Aren't they sweet?" Another alien, apparently named Terok, made the laughing sound again. "Yes, like toy soldiers. I could snap one in half with my smallest arm." The security guard's hand moved toward his gun, but Ambassador Yoon gave him a warning look. In the meeting room, the humans and aliens sat at a large table. The chairs creaked under the weight of the Norathi. "We have been observing your planet for some time," Ambassador Kral said. "We have classified you as a Class 3 non-threat species." "What does that mean?" Ambassador Yoon asked. "It means you are harmless," Kral explained. "Soft, weak, but intelligent enough to be useful. We have come to offer you protection." "Protection? From what?" "The galaxy is a dangerous place," Kral said. "Many species would see your weakness and take advantage, but the Norathi are honorable. We protect those who cannot protect themselves." Ambassador Yoon frowned. "I appreciate the offer, but Earth has its own defenses." This caused all the Norathi to make their laughing sound at once. "Your defenses are toys to the rest of the galaxy," Terok said. He had been introduced as a general in the Norathi military. "We watched your soldiers training yesterday. Even your strongest warriors struggled to lift 100 kilograms. A Norathi child can lift 500. "Strength isn't everything," a woman at the table said. She was Dr. Hyeri Kang, a xenobiologist who had been brought in to help understand the aliens. "In our experience, small one, strength is the only thing that matters," Kral said. After the meeting, Hyeri Kang made a phone call to her cousin, Do-hyun. "Those Aliens are impossible, she said. They think we're pets. I saw on TV, Do-hyun replied. They kept patting people's heads. They judge everything by physical strength, Hyeri explained. And compared to them, we are weak. But I'm worried. Their protection sounds a lot like control to me. If only they knew what humans are really capable of, Do-hyun said. As he spoke, he looked across the room at Jiho, who was doing push-ups on the living room floor. Not regular push-ups. Jiho was balancing his entire body on just 2 fingers, moving up and down easily as if it took no effort at all. Actually, Do-hyun said slowly, maybe they should see what some humans can do. The next day, the aliens requested a tour of human military capabilities. To better understand our cute new allies, Ambassador Kral explained. They were taken to a military base outside Seoul. Captain Yoon Ji-han was assigned to lead the tour. This is one of our main battle tanks, Captain Han explained, showing the aliens a K2 Black Panther tank. It weighs 55 tons and can... General Terok touched the tank with one of his 4 hands. Such a small vehicle. On our world, this would be a toy for children. It's actually quite advanced, Captain Han said, trying to stay professional. Terok looked at his fellow Narathi. I bet I could lift this toy with 1 arm. The other aliens made their laughing sound. That's impossible, Captain Han said. Nothing can lift 55 tons with 1 arm. Perhaps nothing on your world, Terok said. He turned to Ambassador Kral. I have an idea, Ambassador. We should test these humans. Kral nodded. Yes, a fair challenge to see if they deserve our respect, rather than just our protection. What kind of challenge? Ambassador Yoon asked cautiously. Simple, Terok said. We will bring our smallest transport vessel to your city center tomorrow. If any human can move it even slightly, we will recognize you as equals. If not, you must accept your place as our protected species. How heavy is this vessel? Ambassador, Yoon asked. A mere 15 tons. Terok said. A Narathi warrior can lift it easily. Even a Narathi female can move it. He looked down at Captain Han. But I doubt any of your kind can even make it budge. Ambassador Yoon looked worried. Earth's strongest humans could perhaps deadlift 1 ton, but 15 was impossible. This challenge could determine humanity's future among the stars. We accept your challenge, he said, hoping for a miracle. As soon as the meeting ended, Hyeri called Do-hyun again. We're in trouble, she said. The aliens have challenged us to a strength test that no human can pass. No normal human, Do-hyun replied, looking across the room at his roommate. Jiho was in the kitchen, absent-mindedly holding their refrigerator, off the ground with 1 hand while he cleaned underneath it. I think, Do-hyun said slowly, I might know someone who can help. That night, Jiho sat quietly as Do-hyun explained the situation. So these aliens think we're weak, and they've set up a test no human can pass, Do-hyun said, pacing around their small living room. If we fail, Earth becomes their protected planet, which basically means they control us. Jiho looked down at his hands, normal-looking hands that could bend steel. What are you suggesting? He asked, though he already knew. You could do it, Jiho, you could show them. Jiho shook his head. You know why I can't. Remember what happened in school? Do-hyun sat down next to his friend. We're not kids anymore. This isn't about being called names. This is about Earth's future. Jiho thought back to when he was 10 years old. During a school field trip, a bus had started rolling downhill with children inside. Without thinking, Jiho had grabbed the back of the bus and held it in place. The other children had called him a monster, a freak. His parents had moved to a new city, and Jiho had promised never to show his true strength again. I need time to think, Jiho said. His phone rang. It was his sister, Jiwoo. Have you seen the news? She asked when he answered. The aliens set up their test. It's happening tomorrow at Seoul Olympic Stadium. The next morning, Hyeri Kang was waiting outside Jiho and Do-hyun's apartment building. She looked tired, like she hadn't slept all night. Thank you for agreeing to meet with me, she said when Jiho came down. Do-hyun told me about your ability. He shouldn't have, Jiho said coldly. Please just hear me out, Hyeri said. I've been studying the Norathi since they arrived. Their entire society is based on physical strength. They won't respect us unless we show them we're strong. So, now I have to show everyone what I am? Become a circus act? No, Hieri said. You would be Earth's representative. A hero. Jiho laughed bitterly. I've spent my whole life hiding what I can do. People fear what they don't understand. Maybe it's time they understood, Hieri suggested. Did you know there have been others like you? Not as strong, perhaps, but special. This caught Jiho's attention. Others? Hieri nodded. I have a colleague, Dr. Minseo Choi. He's been studying unusual human capabilities for years. He could explain your condition better than I can. Would you meet with him? Dr. Choi's office was small and filled with books and strange-looking equipment. The man himself was older, with kind eyes behind thick glasses. Ah, Jiho Park, he said, offering his hand. Hieri has told me about you. May I ask how much you can lift? Jiho hesitated, then answered honestly. I don't know my limit. The heaviest I've tried was a delivery truck that got stuck in mud. About 4 tons, I think. Dr. Choi's eyes widened. Remarkable. And you've been this way since birth? Jiho nodded. My parents noticed when I was a baby. I would break my crib by pushing on the bars. Dr. Choi took some notes. I believe you have a rare genetic mutation that affects your muscle density and bone structure. Your muscles may be up to 50 times denser than a normal human's, but taking up the same space. Your bones and tendons must also be enhanced to handle the stress. Am I human? Jiho asked quietly. Dr. Choi looked surprised. Of course you are. Just an extraordinary one. Throughout history there have been individuals with unusual abilities. Most hide as you have done, but sometimes when needed, they reveal themselves. He turned his computer screen to show Jiho old newspaper clippings. A woman who lifted a car to save her child, a man who swam 5 kilometers in freezing water to get help for a sinking ship, a teenager who stopped a rolling boulder with his body to protect his friends. Humans are far more variable in our capabilities than the Norathi understand, Dr. Choi explained. While their warriors are all similarly strong, humans range from very weak to, well, to you. Jiho stared at the articles. These people, were they treated like freaks afterward? Some were, Dr. Choi admitted, but most were celebrated as heroes. It all depends on how people see you, as a monster or as a protector. By afternoon, the Seoul Olympic Stadium was filled with people. In the center of the field sat the Norathi transport vessel. It was smaller than their main ships but still impressive, shaped like a giant beetle with smooth metal sides. Ambassador Krall and General Terok stood beside it, towering over the humans around them. Ambassador Yoon looked nervous as he approached them. We have gathered some of Earth's strongest humans to attempt your challenge, he said. General Terok made the Norathi laughing sound. This should be amusing. One by one, Earth's strongest men and women tried to move the vessel. Weightlifting champions strained against the smooth metal hull. Teams of strong men pushed together. None could make it budge even a centimeter. Commander. Krull, Terok's second-in-command, pointed at the human athletes. Look how their faces turn red, how their bodies shake with effort, so adorable in their determination. From the stands, Jiho watched with Do-hyun, Hieri, and Dr. Choi. His hands were sweating. I don't know if I can do this, he whispered. Dr. Choi put a hand on his shoulder. You don't have to. But if not you, then who? On the field, the last strongman had given up. The Norathi were making their laughing sounds again, louder than before. Ambassador Krall stepped forward. It seems clear that humans cannot meet our challenge. We officially classify Earth as a protected planet under Norathi guidance. Wait, Ambassador Yoon called out. Is there anyone else who wishes to try? The stadium fell silent. Last chance, Do-hyun whispered to Jiho. Earth's future depends on this moment. Jiho thought about all the years he had hidden, all the times he had pretended to be weaker than he was. He thought about being called a monster. Then he thought about Earth under alien control, about humans being seen as pets. He stood up. "I'll try," he called out, his voice echoing in the sudden silence. Every head turned to look at him as he made his way down from the stands. "Who is this?" General Terok asked as Jiho walked onto the field. "Jiho Park," Ambassador Yoon said, looking confused. "He's a physical therapist." General Terok made the laughing sound again. "A healer? Not even a warrior?" He bent down to look at Jiho. "Little soft one, our warriors couldn't move this vessel. What makes you think you can?" Jiho looked up at the towering alien. "I won't know unless I try." Commander Krull reached out and patted Jiho's head with one of his forhands. "So brave for such a tiny creature. Go ahead, amuse us." The entire stadium watched as Jiho approached the vessel. Cameras broadcast the scene worldwide. Billions of humans held their breath, wondering who this ordinary-looking man was and why he thought he could succeed where champions had failed. Jiho placed his hands against the smooth metal hull. He took a deep breath. It was time to stop hiding. Jiho stood with his hands against the cool metal of the alien vessel. The stadium was so quiet he could hear his own heartbeat. He closed his eyes for a moment, remembering all the times he had held back. No more holding back. He planted his feet firmly on the ground. Then he pushed. At first, nothing happened. The vessel didn't move. General Terok started to make the Norathi laughing sound. "See? Even your brave little healer cannot." The general's words cut off suddenly as a loud groan of metal filled the air. The vessel was moving. Jiho wasn't just pushing it, he was lifting it. One end of the 15-ton ship rose slowly off the ground. The stadium erupted in gasps. Ambassador Yoon's mouth fell open. Dr. Choi leaned forward in his seat, eyes wide with scientific interest. In the stands, Do-hyun punched the air and shouted, "That's my roommate!" But Jiho wasn't finished. With a deep breath, he adjusted his grip and lifted higher. Now the vessel was tilted at a steep angle with nearly half of it off the ground. The Norathi were frozen in shock. Their forearms hung limply at their sides. Their large eyes bulged even more than usual. "Impossible," Commander Krull whispered. Jiho looked at General Terok. Their eyes met. Then, with a surge of effort, Jiho lifted the entire vessel completely off the ground. The stadium exploded in cheers. Humans around the world watching on TV jumped to their feet. In that moment, Jiho wasn't a freak or a monster. He was Earth's champion. But he still wasn't done. With careful movements, Jiho hoisted the vessel above his head. He stood there, arms fully extended, holding 15 tons of alien technology over his head. "Is this lift acceptable?" he asked calmly, looking at General Terok. The Norathi general seemed unable to speak. His mouth parts opened and closed silently. Ambassador Krull stepped forward. "How is this possible?" he demanded. "No species with your body mass should be capable of this." Jiho slowly lowered the vessel back to the ground. His shirt was soaked with sweat, but he wasn't shaking or out of breath. This hadn't pushed his limits at all. "I think," Ambassador Yoon said, finding his voice at last, "that you have underestimated humans." Dr. Choi hurried onto the field. "If I may explain," he said to the aliens, "humans have greater variation than many species. While our average strength is indeed much less than yours, we have outliers, individuals with capabilities far beyond the norm. One exception does not change a species classification," General Terok said, recovering from his shock. "But he's not the only exception," Dr. Choi argued. "Humans vary greatly in all our abilities. Some can hold their breath underwater for over 20 minutes. Others can survive extreme cold that would kill most people. Some have memories that can recall every detail of their lives." Ambassador Yoon stepped forward. "The point, General Terok, is that humanity should not be judged by averages alone. Your challenge was to see if any human could move your vessel. Jiho has not only moved it, he lifted it completely off the ground." The Norathi delegation huddled together, speaking in their own language. Their voices were clicking and hissing sounds that the translation devices didn't catch. Finally, Ambassador Krall turned back to the humans. This is unexpected. We must reconsider our classification of your species. As they talked, reporters had surrounded Jiho. Cameras flashed in his face, people shouted questions at him. How long have you had this ability? Are there more like you? Are you even human? Jiho looked around, suddenly feeling trapped. This was exactly what he had feared, being treated like a specimen to be studied, not a person. Then Hyeri pushed through the crowd. Please give him space, she said firmly. Mr. Park has just helped save Earth's independence. He deserves your respect, not your interrogation. Do-hyun appeared at his other side. Come on, buddy, he said quietly. Let's get you out of here. As they led Jiho away, General Terok called out, Wait! They turned. The giant alien approached and, to everyone's surprise, bowed his head slightly to Jiho. We have misjudged your kind, he said. I would like to learn more about human variation. Later, that evening, Jiho sat in a private room at a government building. With him were Do-hyun, Hyeri, Dr. Choi, Ambassador Yoon, and Suho Lee, a young diplomat. The Norathi are in shock, Ambassador Yoon explained. They've requested a full study of human capabilities. They want to know if there are others like you. There aren't, Jiho said. At least not exactly like me. That's not entirely true, Dr. Choi said. While your level of strength is unique, there are many humans with extraordinary abilities. The Norathi should understand that our species' strength lies in our diversity and adaptability, not just in physical power. Suho Lee looked at his tablet. The president has called. She wants to give you a medal. Jiho winced. I don't want a medal. I don't want any attention. Too late for that, Do-hyun said, showing Jiho his phone. Tank Lifter was trending worldwide. Videos of his feat had been viewed billions of times in just a few hours. What happens now? Jiho asked. Ambassador Yoon smiled. Thanks to you, the Norathi are treating us as equals. They've offered a proper alliance instead of protection. Their scientists want to meet with ours to exchange knowledge. And me? What happens to me? There was an uncomfortable silence. You're a hero, Hyeri said simply. Until people get scared, Jiho replied. Trust me, it will happen. They'll start to wonder what else I can do. Whether I'm dangerous. Dr. Choi leaned forward. Then we need to control the narrative. Show people that you're not someone to fear. How do we do that? Do-hyun asked. By telling your story, Suho suggested. The whole story. How you've used your strength to help people as a physical therapist. How you've controlled your abilities all these years. Jiho thought about this. All his life, he had hidden what made him different, but now the whole world knew. There's something else you should know, Dr. Choi said quietly. The Norathi shared some information with us after your demonstration. There are other species in the galaxy with individuals like you, outliers with extraordinary abilities. Some civilizations fear them, others worship them, and some, Ambassador Yoon added, use them as weapons. The room fell silent as everyone considered this. Is that why they really came to Earth? Jiho asked. Looking for weapons? We don't know, Ambassador Yoon admitted. But thanks to you, they'll approach us with respect, not condescension. Jiho's phone buzzed. It was his sister, Jiwoo. Are you okay? Her message read. I'm proud of you. For the first time since the lift, Jiho smiled. Maybe being known wasn't so bad after all. Okay, he said. I'll tell my story, but on one condition. What's that? Suho asked. I want to meet with General Terok again, and I want to challenge him to a strength contest. Do-hyun's eyes widened. Are you serious? You want to challenge their strongest warrior? Jiho nodded. If humans and Norathi are going to be allies, we need to understand each other better, and the Norathi understand strength. Ambassador Yoon looked thoughtful. It could work. A friendly competition rather than a test. Not just a test of strength, Jiho said. I want to show them that there are different kinds of strength. As they discussed the details, Jiho felt a weight lifting from his shoulders. Not a physical weight, but the burden of hiding who he really was. For the first time in his life, he didn't have to pretend to be less than he was. It felt like freedom. 3 days after the lift, Jiho found himself back at Seoul Olympic Stadium. This time, the stands were even more crowded. People had traveled from all over the world to see the tank lifter, as they now called him. "I don't like this," Jiho said as he and Do-hyun waited in a small room under the stadium. "Everyone's treating this like entertainment." "It kind of is," Do-hyun replied. "The strongest human versus the strongest alien. It's like something from a movie." Jiho frowned. "That's not the point. I wanted to show them different kinds of strength, not just who can lift more." There was a knock at the door. Yeri entered, followed by Dr. Choi and a small team of scientists. "The Norathi delegation has arrived," Yeri said. "Are you ready?" Jiho nodded. "I think so. Did you set up the tests I asked for?" Dr. Choi smiled. "Yes, all 5 of them, though I'm not sure General Terok will understand the purpose." "He will," Jiho said confidently. "And if he doesn't, I'll explain it to him." Out on the field, a large stage had been set up. On it were several stations with different equipment. General Terok was already there, his forearms crossed over his chest. Ambassador Kral stood beside him, along with several other Norathi officials. The crowd cheered as Jiho walked out. He waved awkwardly, still uncomfortable with his new fame. Ambassador Yoon stepped forward with a microphone. "Today we witness a friendly competition between Earth and Norathi representatives. This is not a contest to determine superiority, but a chance to learn from each other." General Terok stepped forward. Through his translator, he said, "I look forward to testing my strength against the strongest human." His voice held respect now, not mockery. Jiho approached the general and held out his hand. After a moment, Terok reached out with one of his lower arms and shook it. "Let us begin," Jiho said. The first test was simple. A large weight to be lifted. It was a metal cube weighing 20 tons. General Terok went first. With visible effort, he gripped the handles on the sides of the cube and lifted it off the ground. The crowd gasped as the alien held the massive weight for 10 seconds before setting it down. "Impressive," Jiho said sincerely. When it was his turn, Jiho approached the weight. He gripped the handles and lifted. The cube rose easily. Jiho held it longer than Terok had, then set it down gently. The crowd cheered, but Jiho raised his hands for quiet. "That was just the first test," he said. "Strength isn't only about lifting." The second station had a large glass box filled with water. "This test is about endurance," Dr. Choi explained. "Each participant will hold their breath underwater for as long as possible." General Terok looked confused. "This is not a test of strength." "It's a different kind of strength," Jiho explained. "Strength of lungs, of will." The alien shrugged, then stepped into the box. He submerged himself and stayed under for nearly 4 minutes before emerging, his breathing heavy. When Jiho's turn came, he took several deep breaths before entering the water. He sat calmly on the bottom of the tank, looking out at the crowd. 5 minutes passed, then 6, 7. Finally, after 8 minutes and 20 seconds, Jiho emerged. The crowd cheered again, but General Terok looked thoughtful rather than defeated. The third station had a complex puzzle made of metal pieces. "This is a test of mental strength," Jiho explained. "The ability to solve problems." To everyone's surprise, General Terok completed the puzzle faster than Jiho, his 4 hands working together with remarkable coordination. "Well done," Jiho said with genuine admiration. The fourth test involved a small child who had broken her leg. She sat in a chair, looking nervous at the sight of the giant alien. "This test is about gentleness," Jiho explained. "The strength to control one's power." He demonstrated first, carefully examining the child's cast, talking softly to her until she smiled, and then showing her exercises she could do to stay strong while her leg healed. When it was General Terok's turn, he hesitated. "I may frighten the small human," he said. "Try," Jiho encouraged. Slowly, carefully, the giant alien knelt beside the child. His movements were deliberately gentle. He spoke softly through his translator. telling her about young Norathi and how they too sometimes broke bones while playing. By the end, the little girl was giggling and trying to teach Tarok a hand-clapping game. The crowd was silent, watching in wonder as the fearsome warrior played with the human child. The final station was empty, except for 2 chairs. This last test may be the hardest, Jiho said. It's about the strength to admit weakness. He sat in one chair and gestured for Tarok to take the other. In this test, we each share something we cannot do, something we are not strong enough for. General Tarok looked confused, then thoughtful. After a moment, he spoke. Norathi cannot create art, he admitted. Our hands are strong, but not delicate enough for fine detail. We admire beauty, but cannot make it ourselves. The crowd murmured in surprise. Jiho nodded. Thank you for sharing that. He took a deep breath. And I cannot always control my emotions. My strength scared me as a child. I feared hurting others, accidentally. Sometimes I still do. General Tarok was silent for a long moment. Then he said, I had not considered that great strength could be a burden as well as a gift. Jiho smiled. That's exactly what I wanted to show today. Different kinds of strength, and how even strength can sometimes be a weakness. Ambassador Kral stepped forward. I believe I understand now. Humans may be physically weaker than Norathi on average, but you have other strengths, and great diversity. Yes, Ambassador Yoon agreed. And together, our species can be stronger than either would be alone. As the event concluded, General Tarok approached Jiho privately. You are a worthy opponent, the alien said, but more importantly, you are a wise teacher. I'm just a physical therapist, Jiho replied modestly. No, Tarok said, you are a bridge between our worlds. That evening, Jiho, Dohyun, and Hyeri sat in their apartment, watching the news coverage of the event. They're calling it the 5 Strengths Challenge, Dohyun said, scrolling through his phone. It's all over the internet. People are creating their own versions. The Norathi delegation has requested more cultural exchanges, Hyeri added. They want to learn about human art, music, literature, all the things they initially dismissed. Jiho smiled. That's good, better than being seen as cute pets. His phone rang. It was a number he didn't recognize. Hello? He answered. Is this Jiho Park? A voice asked. This is Captain Yoonji Han. The president has asked me to deliver a message. To you. What message? Jiho asked, suddenly nervous. There are other alien species who might not be as reasonable as the Norathi. Earth may need representatives for future first contacts, people who can show humanity's true potential. Jiho looked at his friends. Are you offering me a job? We're offering you a mission, Captain Han replied. To be Earth's strength when needed. Are you interested? Jiho thought about all the years he had hidden his abilities, afraid of standing out. Now his difference could help protect his planet. Yes, he said. I'm interested. As he hung up, Dohyun looked at him curiously. What was that about? Jiho smiled. It seems I have a new job, showing the galaxy that humans aren't just cute after all. 6 months had passed since the Norathi first landed on Earth. The world had changed in ways no one could have imagined. Jiho Park stood at the window of his new office in the International Space Cooperation Center in Seoul. From here, he could see the Norathi Embassy, a tall, rounded building that looked like nothing made by human hands. Still getting used to the view? Hyeri asked as she entered the room. Jiho nodded. Sometimes I miss my old physical therapy clinic. You still work? There 2 days a week, Hyeri reminded him. Some of your patients refuse to see anyone else. They're the ones who still treat me normally, Jiho said with a small smile. Although most people had accepted Jiho's abilities, some still looked at him with fear or treated him like a celebrity. He preferred the quiet life he had before, but he also understood the importance of his new role as Earth's special representative for interstellar relations. There was a knock at the door. Dohyun entered, followed by Ambassador Yoon and an elderly Norathi that Jiho had never seen before. Jiho, this is Elder Vrix, Ambassador Yoon introduced. He's the leading Norathi scientist studying, well, people like you. Elder Vrix was smaller than other Norathi, with pale gray skin that showed his age. He studied Jiho with keen eyes. "It is an honor to meet you, Jiho Park," the elder said, bowing his head slightly. "Your demonstration has changed how many species view humans." "Many species?" Jiho asked. "Not just the Norathi?" Ambassador Yoon nodded. "News travels fast in the galaxy. The recording of your lift has been shared widely. 3 other alien delegations have requested meetings with Earth representatives. Specifically, they asked to meet you, which is why I am here," Elder Vrix said. "If I may, I would like to share what we have learned about humans and why you are more important than you realize." They gathered in the conference room. Elder Vrix connected a device to the screen on the wall. Strange symbols appeared, then changed to Korean writing. "For many years," the elder began, "the galactic community has classified species based on physical capabilities, technological advancement, and population size. Humans were initially considered unremarkable in most categories. Images appeared on the screen, various alien species that Jiho had never seen before. However, there is one category where humans are unique," Elder Vrix continued. "Variation." The screen showed graphs comparing different species. "Most intelligent species have limited variation in physical and mental capabilities," the elder explained. "A strong Norathi is perhaps twice as strong as a weak one, but the difference between your weakest and strongest humans is much greater." "That's why you didn't expect someone like me," Jiho said, understanding. "Exactly," Elder Vrix nodded. "But it is not just physical strength. Humans vary greatly in all capabilities: intelligence, creativity, endurance, sensitivity. Some of your kind can perform calculations faster than computers. Others can create art that moves even alien hearts." "We've always known people have different talents," Do-Yun said. "But you have not understood how rare this is," Elder Vrix replied. "Most species advance by becoming more uniform, more specialized. Humans are becoming more diverse with each generation." The elder looked directly at Jiho. "Your existence proves something many scientists suspected but could not confirm. Humans are still evolving, and in unpredictable ways." Later that day, Jiho visited Dr. Choi at his laboratory. The scientist was working with a team that now included both humans and Norathi researchers. "Elder Vrix says I'm evidence of human evolution," Jiho said. "Do you believe that?" Dr. Choi looked thoughtful. "I believe you represent human potential. Your mutation is rare but natural. Your DNA is human, just with key differences that allow for your extraordinary strength." He showed Jiho a screen with DNA sequences. "We found similar mutations in other humans, though none as pronounced as yours. Your sister Jiwoo, for instance, has a related mutation that affects her brain rather than her muscles." "Jiwoo?" Jiho was surprised. "What do you mean?" Dr. Choi smiled. "Haven't you ever wondered why she can learn new languages in weeks while most people take years? Or how she can remember conversations word for word from when she was a child?" Jiho had always known his sister was smart, but he had never connected it to his own condition. "The same genes that give you physical strength gave her mental strength," Dr. Choi explained. "Different expressions of the same genetic potential." That evening, Jiho had dinner with his sister at their parents' home. He watched Jiwoo with new eyes as she easily switched between Korean English and Norathi phrases. "Is it true?" he asked her quietly while their parents were in the kitchen. "About your abilities?" Jiwoo smiled. "Dr. Choi told you?" "Yes, I've always had a good memory and a knack for languages. Not as flashy as lifting tanks, but useful in its own way." "Why didn't you tell me?" "The same reason you hid your strength," she replied. "Being different isn't always easy." Their conversation was interrupted by breaking news on the television. A new alien ship had entered Earth's atmosphere, one not from the Norathi fleet. "This just in," the news anchor said. "A vessel from the Akrexi Confederation has arrived in Seoul. Unlike the Norathi, the Akrexi are known to be hostile to less advanced species." Jiho's phone rang immediately. It was Ambassador Yoon. "We need you at the landing site," he said urgently. The Acrexi are demanding to see the strong human before they will communicate with our leaders. An hour later, Jiho stood beside Ambassador Yoon as the Acrexi ship landed. These aliens were different from the Norathi, smaller but with sharp, angular features that seemed designed for speed rather than strength. The ship's door opened and 3 Acrexi emerged. Their leader, a female with bright red markings, stepped forward. "We are the Acrexi," she announced through a translator. "We have come to verify reports of human capabilities." Ambassador Yoon began a formal greeting, but the Acrexi leader cut him off. "We do not speak with typical representatives," she said dismissively. "We wish to address the exceptional human." Jiho stepped forward. "I am Jiho Park." The Acrexi studied him with cold, calculating eyes. "You do not look exceptional. Show us your strength." "Strength isn't something to be demonstrated on demand," Jiho replied calmly. "It's something to be used when needed." The Acrexi leader made a harsh sound that might have been laughter. "Clever words. But the galaxy does not run on words. It runs on power." "There are many kinds of power," Jiho said, remembering his challenge with General Terok. "Humans understand this better than most." He gestured to the delegation behind him. "Scientists, diplomats, soldiers, artists. Earth's strength isn't in individuals like me. It's in our diversity, our adaptability, our cooperation." The Acrexi leader seemed unimpressed. "Pretty speech, but we have heard that humans are weak, soft creatures who you called cute until one lifted a tank." General Terok's voice boomed as he approached with a Norathi delegation. The Acrexi turned in surprise. "The human speaks truth," Terok continued. "We made the mistake of judging them by appearances. It was unwise." The Acrexi leader looked from the Norathi to Jiho, clearly reassessing the situation. "Perhaps," she said slowly, "we should discuss terms of trade rather than tests of strength." As the delegations moved toward the conference building, General Terok fell into step beside Jiho. "You have changed things," the alien said quietly. "Not just for Earth, but for many worlds." "How so?" Jiho asked. "The galaxy has long valued uniformity and specialization, species that can predict what each member will be capable of. Humans challenge this thinking." Jiho thought about what Elder Vrix and Dr. Choi had told him, about human variation and potential. "I'm just one person," he said. "No," Terok replied. "You are a reminder that evolution is not finished with any of us. And that is a powerful thing indeed." As they entered the building, Jiho caught sight of his reflection in the glass doors. He looked ordinary, just a man in a suit. Nothing about. His appearance suggested he could lift tanks or change how aliens viewed his entire species. And perhaps that was humanity's greatest strength of all, the capacity to surprise, to exceed expectations, to be more than they appeared to be. No one would call that cute.